brain fog, memory problems, you can't concentrate properly, and you know it is affecting your productivity, your performance, and how you show up at work and in life. And on top of that, you might have also been experiencing mood changes, putting on extra weight. Have you ever wondered how your brain comes into play in all of this? If so, you are in the right place because I will be sharing with you how to improve your brain power in 5 easy steps so you can conquer elite productivity at work and, quite honestly, in every other aspect of your well-being. Now, if this is the first time you're seeing me and meeting me, my name is Calderon. I am a wellness expert and a brain health professional, and I'm the founder of CEO Wellness Club, a company where I work with today's top founders, CEOs, entrepreneurs, and industry leaders who are ready to make their health and well-being a priority. With more than 10 years of experience, I've coached thousands of people and powerful women just like you to help them optimize their brain. You'll have a little taste today, and to optimize the way they sleep so they can really thrive, and biohacks for longevity so they can live longer and better, which is so important. And come closer. When it comes to performance, to elite performance, the performance that gets you the big fat checks, the checks that we all want, the promotions, the performance that gets you noticed and in the right circles, hard work alone just doesn't cut it. Because many times we are working harder, but not smarter. You cannot work your way to the top with brain fog, with memory problems, with lack of attention and lack of creativity. And when it comes to our professional performance, we are rarely thinking about the most essential organ in our body, our brain. Improving and optimizing our brain is really not that hard, but I know it can be confusing because there's so much information out there, research, papers, Google, and it's hard to decide or define what's real, what's not, what can I do, what it's available to me. But I am here to share 5 of key components that I have applied not only for myself, but also for my clients that I help optimize their brain for peak and elite performance. And the first one I want you to be mindful of is the gut-brain axis, which is basically how our brain and our gut connects. There's a say that all illnesses grow in an unhealthy gut, and that is the reality. If our gut is unhealthy, our brain will not be able to function properly, and it will definitely affect our cognitive function. And even though our brain is, if you think about it, it's such a small part of our body, is fairly 3 pounds and only like 2% of a body weight, but it actually consumes 20% of our energy daily. So that means that we really need to fuel our body to fuel our brain. And how we fuel our body, the food that we eat, directly correlates to how my brain performs. So with that said, it's so important that we try to eat as clean as possible, as close to Mother Nature as possible. But unfortunately, we are in a place where the standard American diet is far removed from what we should be eating. So the idea of eating a lot of processed foods, sugary drinks, stay away from what we should be doing in order not only for longevity, not only for general health, but in support of our cognitive power and in support of a sharp brain now, but also later. Because we're also, every tip and key component that I'm giving you right now will help with your immediate performance, but will also help you down the line as you grow older to have a fit brain then, which is so important. I know you'll say, thank you, Candy, and you'll remember me 20, 30 years from now, and you'll say thank you and be grateful that you started implementing that now. So going back to our gut-brain axis, how can you start healing your gut so you can start supporting your brain power? and your cognitive power. As I said, start eating cleaner. And my favorite way of eating, I don't like labels, but if you would have to label the way that I eat, or I highly suggest others to eat in support of your brain power, will be the Mediterranean diet, which is, as we all know, the type of diet that really includes veggies, fruits, nuts, for good fats like olive oil, almonds, nuts, fish, poultry, lots of leafy greens, and again, going back to fruits, a lot of fiber. What that does is that not only keeps your body alkaline, but also heals your gut, continue to support your gut. Remember, when we think about our gut is literally our second brain. If our gut is not healthy, we are not producing many of the hormones that supports not only mood but also overall health. Our serotonin, it's produced in our gut. So imagine if you live in a world where you are not producing enough mood enhancing hormone that is so important, how will that affect not only your daily life, but your performance and the way you show up in life? So it start ditching I just remember, I always think about in the past when I used to eat in a way that will not support my brain. And for example, I had a meeting before, I had an important meeting, and before I will just go down a burger or chips, how that made me feel and how I would perform, or my brain how would support me for that meeting. And it was always brain fog, it was always something. And how I would feel when I would eat, for example, lean protein and whole grains or leafy greens, and how I will feel, how I perform, and the energy that I will have throughout the day for my meetings, and how I would show up not only for those meetings but in general and in life. And let alone the long-term effects of eating a Mediterranean diet in support of your overall health, to keep your body alkaline and guard off any other chronic diseases and chronic illnesses. You know, in an unhealthy gut, unfortunately, your body will be inflamed, because that's the state that your body stays when your gut is not healthy. Your body is inflamed, and that is the foundation for most chronic illnesses. And your brain is not different. So I want you to start eating cleaner, less processed food, less sugar, and more close to a Mediterranean diet where you eat lots of veggies, lots of fruits, nuts, you name it. There's so many ways that you can include all of that into your diet. And I hope you do that. And with that, we'll go to our tip number 2, move your body. For some reason, we tend to think that mind and body are separate, when in reality, they affect each other quite a lot. And moving your body with consistency, but also intentionally, really supports your cognitive function. The science supports this. So not only it's not only to go to the gym that you have to go to the gym. You can exercise intentionally wherever. You can exercise at home. You can exercise outdoors, walking around your neighborhood, but definitely being intentional, and the type of exercise where your body really feels that you are exercising. There's something to be said also about working out with weights, so you can also activate your muscles. But definitely the science supports how exercising consistently and intentionally supports your cognitive function by way of activating neural connections. And we do that through and via and thanks to a beautiful protein we create on our brain called BDNF, or brain derived neurotrophic factor, which is a key component for learning, thinking, and for learning, memory, and higher thinking. Number 3, and this is my favorite, I will always ask you, how are you sleeping? I'm not even going to ask you how you're doing. I'll ask you, how are you sleeping? Because it's more important for me. If you are not well rested, your brain will never function properly. And the science supports this. The evidence supports this. Not only how it affects your brain, but also how it puts you at a higher risk for or other diseases and illnesses like cardiovascular diseases, diabetes. It's so many ways that it affects our body, not only our brain. But obviously, we're focusing on our brain. And the thing for me that is so important, because we will never be able to perform at an elite level, at a 1% level when we are sleep deprived. That old school thought of I'll sleep when I die, duermo cuando me muera. Let's throw that out of the window. We are prioritizing sleep. It is a key component for a memory that is sharp, for you to be present, for your brain to function properly. You cannot function properly when you're sleep deprived. And sleeping only 5, 6 hours will not cut it. It's not only the length, but it's also the quality. When we sleep, we allow our body and our brain to perform a beautiful process where it not only consolidates memories, but it also regenerates and cleans um, and cleans our brain. So for me, it's so important. And not only that you are sleeping the amount of hours that I think are proper for restoration, but also, are you hitting your REM sleep? Are you hitting your deep phases where really the detoxing process happens? So I want to know that is how is your heart variability, all of those things that really makes for good quality sleep and will help your brain to regenerate. That is what I want to know, and that is where I want you to get to at the point, so you are really in a good position to continue to be a high performer, right? You cannot perform at your top if you're not sleeping properly. And speaking of sleep, if you are more interested in diving deeper into this and how that can support your brain, I have a gift, and you'll find a link below so you can join me on my masterclass to learn how to optimize your sleep for high performance, right? And this is my tried and true key framework that will get you to not only sleep well, but will also show you how to optimize your brain via your sleep, and how will that affect your performance, your social interactions, even your body weight, even how your skin shows. Because right, we're thinking about all the things that we can do to look better, but also to show up better in life. So I want to do that for you. Look at the link in the description box and join me for this masterclass that it's free in my community, and I want to see you there, and we'll dive deeper into that conversation. I want to see you there because there's no brain function that is sharp and that is elite without proper sleep. Fourth key component of this framework is to exercise your brain. The same way we go to the gym to exercise our body, we should be intentional with exercising our brain. And this will create such a beautiful ripple effect, not only for now and improve your cognitive function, but also to prevent cognitive decline years down the line. And we do that by challenging our brain and the way we function and we activate our brain. Typically, for example, I always give these examples of how you can exercise your brain. For example, you can start playing Sudoku, right? I love Sudoku. You can start doing crosswords. You can start doing puzzles. You can, with your non-dominant hand, for example, if you're righty, with your left hand, you start brushing your hair with your non-dominant hand. You can start brushing your teeth with your non-dominant hand. Well, that will do is that by you challenging and your brain, you start using different areas that you typically don't use, because when you use your dominant hand, you do it by default. And then as when you use your non-dominant hand, you're using different areas in your brain, and that create new neural pathways. And that is so crucial for neurogenesis, of the creation of new neurons, right? And we want that because that helps to exercise your brain. Learning a new language is such a good exercise. Again, the keyword here is challenge your brain. Cuando hablas español and then you speak English and then you're learning this new language, you're challenging your brain. It's an excellent way to keep your brain in shape. My favorite, Dancing also. Oh my God. Una salsita, una bachata. Who doesn't love that? And it's not only the action of dancing per se, but also the fact of learning new steps, because you challenge your brain to learn these new patterns and follow the patterns of the dance and the steps. And that part of having to learn those new steps, dancing is always good. Who doesn't love a good dance and they sweat it out and the cardio with the dancing, especially with good partner? But it's more so the fact of learning the new steps. So challenge yourself to every weekend to learn a new dance, a new routine. There's so many good routines that you can learn on YouTube, or just enroll yourself in salsa dancing or ballroom dancing, which I love. Is actually one of my goals this year, to enroll in ballroom dancing. Wish me luck. But it's a beautiful way to challenge your brain and exercise your mind. And number 5 key component for this framework is to focus on positive things. I know it's human nature to first start thinking about the negative things that surround us, but it's so important, especially for brain health, to try and focus on the positive things and be mindful of our surroundings, our interactions, be vigilant with our boundaries. I always share this. And sometimes when we are in this journey of uplifting ourselves and removing ourselves from negative chatter, negative interaction, negative connection, being romantic, being friends, social circles, sometimes that will trigger people who will benefit from your lack of boundaries in the past. But I always say, not everybody can go. Sorry, not everybody can go. When we are in this process of building our future, building our legacy, and we want to separate ourselves from the negative chatter, the negative energy, not everybody can go. And part of that is being vigilant with our energy, with what I surround myself with people, environments, situations, and how do I remove myself from those who are not uplifting me or bringing anything positive into the equation that is my life. So not everybody can come. And when you are intentional with focusing on the positive and looking for the positive to integrate it in your life, your brain benefits from that, because you are looking the brighter picture, you are looking to the big picture. And in that sense, when you are vigilant with your boundaries, when you are focusing on the positive, when you are eliminating yourself from toxic and negative environments, your brain and your cognitive function benefits from that. So there you have it. I gave you my 5 key components of my framework that will help you get you in the way and get you to third base when it comes to optimizing your brain. Those are 5 very simple steps. Of course, I go deeper when I work directly with you and in my programs to help you reach that elite performance stage where you are not only in the 1%, but also your mind is sharp now, but also thinking in the future. Again, I left you some gifts in the description box. I hope to see you in the masterclass, and I talk to you soon. Besos.